was like 8-year-old Kris, did she bring like the apple to the teacher every day in class? Was she like the biggest giver, or did she always think that she would start, a consulting firm, doing charitable giving? Kind of how did that start?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I don't have the best answer for it. I do have a couple of vivid memories, though. One is, as probably an 8-year-old Kris, sitting at the television, which, at the time was like the ginormous TV that had a dial with, 3 channels.
Yeah. For all you millennials listening, you didn't have a remote back then. It was a hand thing. Yeah.
And your TV was not flat and hanging on a wall.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I had like paneled, walls. This
yes.
was probably the 70s. Anyway, yeah, and I remember somebody was being interviewed on the news, and the title it gave that person was philanthropist. And I remember asking my mom, like, what is a philanthropist? And she said, someone who has so much money they have extra money to give away to help other people. And I remember thinking, sounds good. Like, I want to be that. Now, I think I wanted to be the actual uber wealthy person as opposed to the one advising them. But nonetheless, like, that was my first really understanding of philanthropy. And then I also have a memory, and I don't know if I was in high school or college, but it's funny. It was like this flash where this voice inside of me said, someday you'll be a consultant. And I don't know where it came from, but I remember being overcome by a feeling of dread. I remember thinking, like, oh God, no.
Because they have to acquire a ton of knowledge and teach people.
Where that voice or that idea came from, or why I felt such dread. But I think I felt like, how will I be capable? How will I be competent? How will I know enough to actually consult or advise someone? Like, I felt kind of that fear. Anyway, and then, I think starting in high school, I just somewhat through a few high school social studies classes became a little bit politicized and kind of learning about injustices happening around the world. And that got me interested in more of the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that I would have a profession where I was helping other people. I just didn't quite know what that meant.
Yeah.
But my career evolved into what it is today,
yeah.
for sure.